Hey, thanks for making it to Veterans Info Tap. I'm glad you made it. We, as a community, a veteran and even spouse community, are reliant upon many different types of medications, of which a lot of us receive them through the mail. There has been reports of processing errors and issues with all of this. The Senate Committee on Veterans Affairs has pushed back on the United States Postal Service to ensure that we get these prescriptions in a timely fashion. I wanted to go through this with you, bring you up to date if you are not aware, so that way you will be aware. So please, hit the thumbs up, subscribe, share with a friend, all that good stuff. I really appreciate it. Still feeling a little under the weather, so sorry for that. And we'll move on. I really appreciate you doing those two things for me. Hitting that thumbs up and subscribing means a lot for the channel. The more that you watch the video, the more that this does get pushed out, just kind of the way YouTube works. So anyway, moving on here. Wanted to also thank all of you members. If you want to be a member, it's a great way to support the channel. It helps me to find you quicker in the comments. You can do that by going to the home page. There you'll see all of the highlighted members for that given time period, and you'll see a little join button there. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right, so let's move on. Tester, who is the chairman of the committee, demands United States Postal Service postmaster take swift action to protect veterans' access to critical medications. Chairman presses the United States Postal Service to ensure. Now, remember, he's from Montana, so he's going to reference Montana in any of his things, probably mostly because that's where he's a senator, and anytime you want to get reelected, you need to show that you're doing something for your folks. But by default, because it's federal, it's about all of us. So, Chairman presses United States Postal Service to ensure Montana veterans receive accurate and timely prescription medications following reports of processing errors. This just came out Thursday, February 22nd, and wanted to share it with you this Monday. All right, thank you so much. Let's jump into it. Continuing his push to improve mail delivery for Montanans, and again, this is a federal thing. It's not like they're just going to focus on Montana. U.S. Senator John Tester, chairman of the Senate Veterans Affairs Committee, is calling on Postmaster General Louis DeJoy, to fix issues at the United States Postal Service to ensure Montana veterans who receive medication through USPS delivery get their medications in an accurate and timely manner. Rural Montanans, and again, he's doubling down on the state in which he is elected, but remember that the post office and the VA are federal agencies, and they're not just going to pick one little spot to work on. It's going to be a national thing. Rural Montanans rely on the United States Postal Service to pay their bills, run their small businesses, and receive their prescription medications. And again, any veteran can fit into that boat. Wrote Tester in a letter to Postmaster General DeJoy. For many veterans living in rural Montana, or rural anywhere for that matter, the United States Postal Service is the only way to receive their VA medications, or drive forever, especially when the nearest VA pharmacy might be several hundred miles away. United States Postal Service must ensure that veterans in Montana and across the country can trust that their prescription medications will make it to their door on time and unimpeded by processing errors. And I'm going to throw out there, when you're talking about processing errors and delay in the time frame to get things delivered, you have to think about the storage of those medications. Are they sitting, on a dock somewhere, with the sun beating down on them, depending on the time of the year? Are they in an uncontrolled environment where they get too hot, too cold, and lowering the basically the strength of the medication? So those are things you have to think about as well, right? So moving on, Tester's letter follows a report from the United States Postal Office of the Inspector General detailing several processing and distribution errors of VA medication packages, including improper handling of medication packages, employees' lack of awareness of the policies and procedures for handling damaged pharmacy packages, and inconsistent and inaccurate scanning of packages and mail at United States Postal Service facilities. So, that's unpleasant. Moving on, urging the United States Postal System to do more to ensure veterans get the medication they need in time and intact, Tester continued. Veterans should not have to wonder if their medication will survive the United States Postal Service processing, let alone be presented with empty packages while waiting for their much-needed medications. Absolutely agree. Tester also pressed the United States Postal Service to implement the OIG's recommendations to protect veterans' access to timely prescriptions. In my time on the Senate Committee on Veterans Affairs, I have found that if something is happening at one VA facility, it is almost certainly happening at other facilities. Very true. And I imagine the same can be said for the United States Postal Service. Veterans rely on the United States Postal Service for on-time medication delivery, so it is imperative that the United States Postal Service employees around the country are in full compliance with the policies and procedures pertaining to damaged packages and loose medications. Please provide an update on the development and implementation of these OIG recommendations. Tester has been the Montana's leading champion holding the United States Postal Service accountable. Earlier this month, he demanded that the United States Postal Service halt its proposal to relocate the Missoula Processing and Distribution Center to Spokane, Washington, a move that would take away jobs from Montanans. Again, it's almost like these news releases are 50% news release and 50% self-marketing, most likely for election purposes, right? So I'm just reading it and giving you my 2 cents and seeing if we could pick anything out of this. Sometimes there's little things buried in there, so bear with me. Halt the process, Montana's possibly worsened timely mail delivery in the state. In December, Tester pressed the Biden administration to address staffing challenges and fill upcoming positions or openings in the United States Postal Service leadership with people who have experience with postal matters in rural areas. In June, following months of discussions with Big Sky Post Office stakeholders and USPS, Tester secured $229,000 per year increase in funding for the Big Sky Post Office to support continued services in the face of the area's rapid population growth. In April of 2022, his Postal Service Reform Act was signed into law, which ensures long-term reliable mail service and put the USPS on sound financial footing. He has repeatedly pushed Postmaster General DeJoy on USPS policy changes that have delayed mail, threatened to undermine the agency and harm rural America. In 2020, Tester blew the whistle on the USPS for removing dozens of mail collection boxes from towns across Montana, leading USPS to pause its removal of collection boxes nationwide until after November election. Since the beginning of the pandemic, thousands of Montanans have contacted Tester to express concerns about mail delays and their effects on Montana communities. And so that concludes it. The big thing here is that you need to make sure that you're getting your medication, and if it's damaged, misplaced, missing, delayed, anything like that, reach out to your state senator, reach out to your congressional member. The United States Postal Service is a federal agency. Reach out to your federally elected individuals and let them know the issues that you're having with that agency. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate you. Have a great one. And remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong.